What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee and Toys here. It is Friday, and you know if you're here on a Friday, that means it is new comic book review day. And this week, Wednesday, we had the latest issue of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero from Image Comics, Skybound Entertainment drop. And it's been a hot minute since we've actually had that. They skipped the month of April, so we haven't actually had a review of the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero series for over a month. So I am very excited to get back into G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 306. But before we start, we need to talk about some coffee. And once again, make sure you are getting all your coffee from coffeebrandcoffee.com. That's right, coffeebrandcoffee.com. If you use my link down in the description below, you can save yourself 5% on your first purchase or your 50th purchase. They have coffees, hot cocoa, snacks, candies, something for everyone. And if you do support by using the link below, you support this channel and you support a great American business. I'm drinking, once again, the blueberry cobbler because it's fun. It's like a dessert drink without all the calories, I guess. But yeah, so I have the blue cobbler. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites, and they are also running a really great sale right now on some of their candies and nuts, so make sure you check coffeebrandcoffee.com out. Use the link below or use the promo code Coffee&Toys, COFFEENTOYS. That being said, if you recall, we'll do a quick little recap of what happened at the end of the last issue. So in 305 of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Zartan was being hunted down by a heat-seeking missile that was fired upon him from Serpentor Kahn, and the Revenant and Serpentor, those forces are at odds with each other, one trying to one-up the other in you'll see in this issue, it's getting ridiculous, and we'll talk about it. But yes, we ended that issue. Zartan was being chased by a heat-seeking missile. Dawn had just left Springfield. And yeah, let's just jump into G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 306. Okay, I'm going to set my coffee down. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 306 from Image Comics / Skybound Entertainment, May 2024. Our writer is once again the legendary Larry Hama. Our pencils are done by Paul Pelletier. Inks by Tony Cordos. Colorist Francesco Sigala. Flatter Sabrina Del Grosso. And letterer Pat Brozu. So, and I apologize if I butchered any of you guys' names. If you watch this, please correct me, privately or publicly, doesn't matter. We start the issue off with Zartan, again, being chased through the bayou while he is riding his swamp skier by that heat-seeking missile that was fired from Serpentor in the last issue. As Zartan tries to escape it, he pulls a quick turn to try to throw off the gyros of the heat-seeking missile. Unfortunately for Zartan, that does not do it. It continues to follow him at it's catching up very quickly. Zartan, at the last moment, decides he's going to ditch his swamp skier. He jumps into a tree as it continues onward, and the heat-seeking missile destroys the swamp skier, but Zartan has managed to leap to safety. Zartan decides afterwards to review the wreckage, and on a piece of the missile, he notices that it says Mars Industries, and he talks to himself out loud, saying, "This isn't adding up. Destro really has no reason to be attacking me. I need to think about this." We cut back to Cobra Island, where Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender are conversing, and Serpentor Kahn asks Mindbender, did the missile take out Zartan? Mindbender says, the missile did detonate. If it didn't hit him exactly, he would have been killed in the blast radius of it. Serpentor Kahn kind of huffs and says, I can't just assume Zartan's alive, but something I can assume, however, is how well the integration between the Revanche cyborgs and our Cobra troops. And he's overlooking the Revanche's technology, quickly augmenting his mutated Cobra troops, who, if you remember from early on in this series, are now kind of zombies on the island because of what Serpentor had previously done, with essentially releasing a biovirus on the entirety of Cobra Island. They are now working together with the Revanche to build these cyborg / mutated Cobra troops. And also during that, they are trying to put a kill switch in. I'm trying to remember what exactly they called it, but Serpentor Kahn and Mindbender are essentially trying to get around the Revanch's control of their own soldiers. They know that the Revanch have control because it's their technology, and they have put something in place from the last issue to basically make it a kill switch where they cannot control the Cobra troops, and obviously it's going to lead to something where Serpentor Kahn's going to turn on the Revanch. That being said, we go back to Castle Destro meanwhile, and from the last issue we saw a faux Zartan show up and start talking to Destro and the Baroness at Castle Destro, and that was sent by Serpentor Kahn. So, real cap. We got the real Zartan being attacked by Serpentor Kahn. We have a cyborg fake Zartan talking to Destro and the Baroness. And he is talking with the Baroness and Destro, and as they're discussing things, this Zartan is trying to convince Destro and the Baroness to use Mars to help defeat Cobra Commander, because obviously that's what Serpentor Kahn's going to want. And as they're discussing this, an Iron Grenadier walks up, interrupts Destro, and says, "My lord, we want you to check this out right now." And he shows him a data pad that shows it's a split down the middle, and you can see that this is a cyborg and it's not the real Zartan. Baroness looks over, sees it, says we should just put a bullet in this cyborg's cranium and be done with him. And Destro calms her down and says, "No, let's see how this plays out." He winds up shaking hands with Zartan, saying, "I'm going to take what you said under advisement. It might be a good move for us to join forces with Serpentor Kahn." And that's that. Now, we switch back to Snake Eyes, who's seemingly moving through an urban setting, and then suddenly 2 Cobra targets and a civilian target pop up. We come to realize that Snake Eyes is actually in a training arena or simulation, and he then spends the next few panels just blasting, stabbing, slashing everything in his way, taking out the bad guys, not taking out the civilian targets. And at the end, Scarlet appears and basically comments on, "Hey, Snake Eyes, do you ever not do perfect on this?" And then says, she goes through all the different weapons he used and say, "Oh, you're using this weapon and that weapon." And Snake Eyes just kind of gives a couple, "Yep, uh-huh." Because remember, Snake Eyes can talk now. This is a clone, so this clone is not scarred and has vocal cords. But he doesn't do a whole lot of talking, other than to say at the end, "It doesn't matter what weapons I use, the mind is the real weapon." So Snake Eyes getting a little bit meta there. We go back to Springfield, and we see Dawn Moreno's parents are actually leaving Springfield, and they are pulled over by the local Cobra law enforcement. And they say, "Hey, where are you guys off to?" And they answer, "Oh, my sister's got early onset Alzheimer's, and we're going to go visit her in Phoenix." And the Cobra law enforcement say, "Oh, this wouldn't happen to have anything to do with the recent appearance of your daughter Dawn in Springfield, would it?" And of course they deny it. And at the same time, a HISS tank pulls up and says to the officers, "Hey, do you guys need any assistance?" And so you have the Cobra officers, you have the HISS tank, and you have Dawn Moreno's parents. And Dawn Moreno's mother says, "Hey, we've got the medical records right here in the glove box for my sister-in-law, or my sister." And she reaches for it, and then the law enforcement officers go, she's going for a weapon, and we see a panel of them unloading their clips into the vehicle. So that was very shocking to see. I was not expecting that. We cut back to the Revanch facility in Baton Rouge, and at this point, the Python Patrol officer that you may remember that got into a fight with a Blue Ninja in the last issue is talking to Alpha 001 at headquarters and says, "We still haven't been able to find this Blue Ninja that disappeared." And if you recall, in the last issue, they actually destroyed that robot to be able to get Cobra's kill switch or whatever in place to disrupt the Revanch from being able to control the Cobra troopers. So this Python Patrol officer that's communicating with Alpha 001 is basically still playing like he's an ally. Alpha 001 says, "It's okay, he'll show up," and just kind of plays it off. It's very strange. Killing that feed, he then Alpha 001 then turns to another Blue Ninja at the headquarters and the Cyborg says to Alpha 001, hey, we know all about what Serpentor's been trying to do and, put in that kill switch so we can't control his troops after we upgrade them. But we've got a backdoor into it, and it doesn't matter. We're just going to let him think that he's getting away with this, but we're never actually going to lose control. Yeah. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. So that's going on. Now, a new part, we go to the Gulf of Mexico, and in the skies is a very large plane, and we see 4 halo jumpers jump out of the plane, and these 4 halo jumpers land in the ocean, and they get their raft together, they build it, they go up onto land, and we find out that it is Wetsuit, Molto, Helix, and Muskrat. They have been deployed to go... They are on Cobra Island. I believe they're on Cobra Island. And they are to infiltrate Serpentor Kahn's headquarters and find out what is going on. They quickly, though, have to hide because there are 2 enhanced Cobra troopers, mutant zombie things, coming by on ferrets. But we do now have 4 G.I. Joes back on Cobra Island. And then finally, the issue ends. We have Zartan, which I assume is the real Zartan. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but based on what he says, hey, someone's trying to attack us. The only person that doesn't make sense to attack us would be Destro, and that's the person that launched the missile, or that's whose information was on the... I'm sorry, not whose information. The insignia from Mars Industries is on the missile that blew up my swamp skier. And this just makes all the Dreadnoughts mad, and they're rowdy, and they're like, we need to go on the offensive, and we need to take it to Serpentor Kahn and Cobra Commander, but we're going to need allies. And so Buzzer at the end of the issue says, well, shouldn't we team up with Destro? And that's where the issue ends. So it's just a lot of small cuts throughout this. Now, I do think that it is the real Zartan at the end of the issue, and I think what we're going to see is we have the fake Zartan go to Destro. Then we're going to have the real Zartan show up to Destro to ask for assistance. And yeah, that's the issue in a nutshell. And I tell you what, I like the idea that they started with. Apologies. I like the idea they started with by having Serpentor Kahn blow up the nuke, turn everybody into a mutant. But now here we are with this whole just back and forth of the Revanche and Serpentor Kahn, one trying to play the other, and it's kind of getting boring, honestly. I thought it was a good idea having them team up, because I was like, they're going to team up, they're going to attack Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander's going to try to attack them. G.I. Joe's trying to make a play in here somewhere as well, and now Destro's being brought into the fray. But now we just keep getting this back and forth between the Revanche and Serpentor. Oh, we've tricked the Revanche. They're not going to be able to control our troops. Oh, but they didn't trick us. We're still going to be able to control them. And it's just this, it's just this back and forth that it has now went on for about 3 issues, and to me, just isn't going anywhere. And, I want to see where this goes. It felt like there's been a little bit of fluff going on, and they're trying to stretch out this, big civil war, whatever you want to call it, that's coming on. But I'm kind of getting bored with it. There was no Cobra in this issue, no Cobra Commander, which bums me out. We had the interaction with the Cobra law enforcement and Dawn Moreno's parents. That shocked me. I was not expecting that. Now, do I think Dawn's parents are dead? I don't know. I don't know about that one. If Larry killed him, then wow, that's pretty shocking. And I won't say I'll be satisfied with that, but I will be definitely shocked if they just straight up killed him for no reason. But as we all know, Larry doesn't really think too much further ahead than the page he's working on. So I guess he has another month, or I guess we rather have another month to see if they're going to be alive or not. Interested in seeing where Destro's play is and coming up on this. Is he going to side with the Dreadnoughts if they have that team up? Are they going to go after Cobra Commander, or are they going to go after Serpentor? What about the Joes landing on Cobra Island? Is nobody concerned about Cobra Commander? I mean, is that just where we're at? Serpentor Kahn's a much bigger threat than Cobra Commander? I don't know. This issue left me asking more questions than any answers. I did like seeing Wetsuit and Helix, Molto, and Muskrat. I thought that was really cool. I really like seeing Wetsuit in his non-wetsuit. That was kind of cool. Yeah, very interested in seeing what's going out. But that being said, that's the review of G.I. Joe Real American Hero issue 306. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Did you pick up the issue yourself? I guess I should say I only managed to get the regular issue. I will say this. I like that they got the Paul Pelleter, I think is new to this issue. I don't remember exactly, but the artwork's definitely different, and I do like the artwork a lot in this issue. So I'll make sure I'm sure you've already seen some of the pictures I put up, but I do like the artwork in this issue compared to previous issues. I did like seeing Snake Eyes kind of going through doing his training for whatever his next mission is, I'm assuming. But yeah, overall, kind of just another in-the-middle issue. I still say G.I. Joe Real American Hero is the weakest of the series that are currently out from Image Comics, but that's only because it's not a new telling of the story. This is, if you like a Real American Hero and everything it is, from issue 1 till now, this is still good. And I still am enjoying it. It's just, I'm not as excited about it because of all the reasons I previously mentioned. But I'm still glad to have reviewed the issue. Let me know what you think of the review down in the comment section. Make sure you support your local comic book shops and go out and purchase an issue of G.I. Joe Real American Hero or any of their other titles just to support local business. But if you want G.I. Joe to stick around, you got to buy the issues, and that's what we need. Scarlet and Destro's miniseries come out next month. Duke and Cobra Commanders just ended, and they're going to come out with the trade paperbacks in June. So if you missed those, make sure you pick those up next month. Next month's going to be really fun. Yojo June, we get tons of action figure news. We get all these new, 2 new limited series starting, and we get the next issue of Real American Hero. And Image Comics is also coming out with, they're going to do the complete issues 1 through 155. They're going to start re-releasing those in trade paperback form, starting with issues 1 through 50. I think that's coming in October. So, yeah, lots of fun stuff happening with G.I. Joe Comics. But that being said, thanks for checking out the review. Make sure you like this video if you made it this far. It doesn't take more than a second. It really helps out the channel. Drop a comment, hit that bell notification, hit it, switch it to all notifications so you never miss a comic review or action figure review. But other than that, I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys. I'll see you later.